What's up, YouTube? You know what? Sometimes I think we all have high hopes, don't we? Have you ever wondered what it might be like to come and visit Koala Gardens and come along and find 3 koalas in one tree? And on top of that, discover that one of them is a boy, one of them is an adult girl, and one is a little Joey who has had to run up high and stay right out of the way. Well, that's exactly what you're going to see in this video. On the third day that Bonnie and Janice were on the property, and Bonnie met Valentine. It's worth watching. You know, a lot of people are getting behind me and I'm so appreciating it. Would you like to become a patron? There are some fantastic perks for you, such as exclusive merchandise, the rights to be putting forward names for the new koalas, exclusive video, exclusive news, and every one of the people that are behind me make everything that I am doing possible, and I am so grateful. And I've got 3 shout outs to give. Yes, 3 donations of note from Pat Wastel, and then the beautiful Andy. And look at this gorgeous photo that I was given to go along with it, and Hovey, who joined in with Andy to make the donation, and again a beautiful image to go with it. I'm so grateful I cannot describe in words, but I truly appreciate it. And I want to acknowledge the Widjabul Waiable people of the Bundjalung Nation, on whose land Koala Gardens sits. Every morning I get on my quad bike and I go out and I go around the entire property checking for koalas. I do this whether there's a tour coming or not, because I put all of this information into my database. So this is what I found. There's Janice sitting just a metre or so higher in the tree above Bonnie, and they look quite relaxed. Quite a distance away I found Valentine, but later Valentine came up into that tree. Now what you're seeing there is Bonnie has just told Valentine in no uncertain words to get away from her. So there's Bonnie. Janice is sitting up higher. Valentine, can you see him there? He's retreated down into that leafy area of the tree, and he's just kind of going, oh, well, just sit here. I'm about 40-50 metres away from the tree, so I couldn't pick the sound up properly, but she is telling him off. And then further up the tree, can't quite find Janice from this vantage point, but Janice was very smart and raced up the tree to stay out of the way. It's very hard to see Valentine through the leaves here, but he is just in that leafy area. He's going to just start climbing up a little bit, get himself a vantage point to sit for a while. Now this is really typical koala mating behaviour. Most of the koala mating behaviour that we see is a very long wait. The male will approach the female, she will often tell him off, he'll retreat, but stay in a position where you can see she's not going to be able to come down that tree without being confronted by Valentine. So he's like, okay, I'll be cool, I'll move back, I'll get out of the way, but you're going to stay here too. Sometimes they'll wait 5 or 10 minutes, sometimes they will wait hours before they will have another go. So very often we don't actually see koalas mating. We see koalas sitting in a tree appearing to ignore each other, but they are far from ignoring each other. Koala Gardens is a sanctuary for wildlife that's on private property. So that means I spend a lot of my own personal time and money voluntarily creating safe koala habitat for koalas and loads of other type of wildlife. If you'd like to support what I do and you can't become a patron, you can use the Super Thanks button below and throw even just a couple of dollars towards what I'm doing as a way of helping me do what I do and be able to bring more videos to you. But all my video will always be free on YouTube. I ended up setting the camera up on the tripod and I did a lot of filming just in the hopes that I would catch them moving again. This is one of the big things, as I said, a lot of koala mating behavior is a lot of just kind of like a Mexican standoff of, well, I'll go to sleep here, you go to sleep there, but you're not going to get past, get out of the tree unless you attempt to go past me. Quite often one or other of the koalas will move a little bit, but very often the female who is kind of trapped in the tree won't move terribly much, because just her waking up and moving about a bit can spark the male to come back and have another attempt at mating. But Bonnie must have been getting a bit uncomfortable and decides that she'll move her position in the tree a little bit. But what's really obvious is see how she's pretty much doing it all in slow motion. I promise this video is playing at normal speed, so she has kind of turned herself around a little bit. Unfortunately we can't quite see her face, but she's pretty much looking down at Valentine and just kind of weighing her situation up. Okay, may as well have a bit of a scratch because there's not really a lot I can do about all of this. It's rare that they will even go up higher in the tree, because just moving, as I said, can cause the male to wake up and become active, and she can't be certain that if she goes up higher that she won't find herself in a less defensible position. The branch she's sitting on is not terribly big, so he has to be careful putting his weight onto that branch and venturing out, because then they risk the branch breaking. So it's kind of a dangerous way of dealing with the situation, but it's also one of the smartest ways of dealing with the situation. Well, I'll sit here on a thin branch, but where I'm safe on my own, and you better not try and come out here and get on the branch with me. I think I've said before that one of the most difficult parts about what I do in order to try and get video, both for you and also for my own observation, is that sometimes I have to just keep a camera recording nothing much happening for hours and hours and hours, in the hopes of being there at the right moment. And with wildlife, that is always something that you can just never guarantee. I've just zoomed in a little bit. That Bonnie is such a pretty little girl, isn't she? She's just beautiful. So to all intents and purposes, she looks perfectly content, just snoozing away. But in reality, she probably is reasonably stressed, knowing that that male's there. And in all, I've been filming for a couple of hours, and in all that time, of course, Janice hasn't come back down to, get herself anywhere near Mum, because that would put her near to Valentine. A little later in the afternoon, and Valentine actually moved around a little bit and sat in the fork of the tree rather than behind those leaves. Bonnie's still sitting out on that limb. I've actually brought the camera down to a closer spot and set it up, and there, up quite a bit higher in the tree, is little Janice. Janice is in a really safe spot. You can see Janice has got plenty of places to just hold on and be quite relaxed up there while being completely out of the way and therefore out of danger. It is dangerous for a young joey to be in the tree when a male comes along to try and mate. Oh, Janice has woken up and is moving about. I love it when koalas swing around underneath a branch and do, what I call the sloth movement. Now, let me tell you, I got really excited here, just hoping if Janice is moving and climbing, are we going to be able to do a gender reveal? And you have no idea how much I'm watching. And you just look at this. It just drives me bananas how every time a young koala is moving about in a tree and I'm filming, there is always a leaf or a stick or a something, for some reason, that tends to be in the way. Now it's like, come on, just do a big reach across with your right leg now so that we can have a look. No. So Janice is probably the least stressed about this situation of all of them. Janice is in a pink bloodwood, and whilst they are a secondary tree, they're not always a terribly popular secondary tree. How close were we then to seeing something? So Janice is looking a little bit peckish and would like to have something to eat, but this leaf's not exactly what they're looking for. So Janice is sort of having a sniff about at the different leaves, moving down. Now, we're getting a bit of a look under there, but it's really hard. It's like when they're a boy and you see those little nuggets, then you go, yeah, definitely that's a boy. Quite often when they're a girl, it takes longer to be sure, because it's like, well, those little movements, I'm not seeing anything in under there, but I'm not seeing clearly enough to be certain either. So Janice is looking like they're just not sure whether it's worth trying to venture out and find leaf to eat, or whether it's going to be safer to just sit on this nice sturdy branch of the tree and maybe go back to sleep. I continued filming. I would have to bring the camera in, empty the SD card, change batteries, but I continued filming for as long as I had light, and the situation didn't change. So frustrating when koalas don't do the exciting things when the camera's on them. Valentine moved on through the night. Janice and Bonnie stayed, not in this same tree, but in this area. So, watching the bits of movements we have seen, what do you reckon? Is Janice a girl or a boy? Just look at how Janice just got comfy in that little spot there. I mean, I think that is hilarious. It's like, oh look, here's a little seat ready-made for a koala to fit into. Just look at that. Well, that's all I really got for you. So guess what? You've done it. You've made it to the end of yet another Koala Gardens video. So would you take a moment to write in the comments below, perfect match? What do you reckon? I guess that what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to do the math and see whether we find Bonnie producing any Joey at the right time next year. Thanks for watching. More great Koala Gardens video coming your way. If you're looking for a gift, I highly recommend you hop over to my Redbubble store. There's a link in the description below, and check out all of the different designs that I've got, and over 60 types of merchandise that you can have them printed on, and they're all sustainably printed and posted out.